Welcome to Inspired by JimmyL, a podcast that inspires freedom through authenticity. Take our shows and use them, honey. Use them to listen to your gut, your intuition, and allow them to give you the courage to be free in every area of your life. We believe that success and happiness is a personal thing. Now redefine it on your terms. This show is designed to give you practical tips from realistic people who have decided to no longer keep up with the Joneses. Now, your intuition is your roadmap, but this show is here to give you more courage to simply listen. And to add, we are not pleading for ratings and reviews, but please be sure to subscribe and share every single show if you are inspired. I'm your host, Jimmy Warr Mize. Now let's get into the show.
That's some amazing self-awareness. And
That's
a beautiful thing.
Bingo, Jimmy. Yeah, man, I need you to be a co-author of my other book. Between your positivity and some of these things that you're complimenting my talks, I'll tell you this: I need you to be a co-author of my next book, my friend. But but let me tell you why that is important. So the first two are, I think, straightforward, right? The number one is the number one. The research, you got to do this, and both of those are grinding. First one is a decision. Second one is a grinding work. And the third thing is, like I say, knowing yourself, the internal view, the self-awareness, the emotional intelligence that you discover in that step. What that does is it enables you to accept and deal with feedback.
Wow.
And that is
wow.
Yeah, see, that's a necessity that you got to be able to do that. Now, when I say feedback, so folks say, well, I don't get feedback. My boss doesn't give me feedback. Trust me, feedback happens all the time. Sometimes it's explicit, sometimes it's implicit, sometimes it's direct, sometimes indirect. But the feedbacks can be literally, hey, Jimmy, this is a great show. You're doing a great job. Pat on the back, awesome. But it can also be, hey, I'm interested to be a guest on podcast, but I'm not contacting Jimmy, right? That's a feedback, right? So that people need to be able to do that. And the only way to do this is to actually take a moment, take that step.
And have self-awareness.
Self-awareness, and then you be able to accept. I mean, and the feedback is how we grow, right? Without feedback, it's hard to grow. You don't know where you're at, and you don't know where you're going. So that's, I would say, if that answers your question, like top 3 steps out of 9. If I had to pick the 3 that would make the most differences in the shortest amount of time, and if you do nothing different, I will at least do these three steps.
Okay, so I've got to ask this. I did not expect you to bring this up, and this is totally going to push me over time. But I've got to ask. So, have you done a Strength Finder test or
I have.
Assessment? Have you? Which one is the one that you recommend?
So Strengths Finder is actually so it comes with the book, right? And then
I was trying not to say that because obviously I've done that one, but it can't slip out.
No, that's okay. So so for folks that the leaders, so it just so happened that you pick Strengths Finder. So, but I've been a people leader, right? I've been a people leader at work for over a decade now, right? And before then, I led many projects, but I had indirect leadership across number of people. And by the way, my teams, they spread out between 6-7 countries. Depends on the
Okay.
Right? So you're kind of working with a whole lot of different cultures, different organizations, different mindsets, right? But one thing that brings people together more than anything else is when you actually talk about them, right? And then when you actually give them. So every time when I take over a new team, every time when I'm asked to introduce more cohesiveness within the team, the first thing I do, I go buy out a whole bunch of Strengths Finder books and I give it to them. And
my gosh!
And part of the reason is, and by the way, I'm not endorsing the book in a sense.
No, I know. I got.
I got nothing from it except that I truly admire the Cliffords and his Gallup and those guys that put it together. But I will tell you what that does is, in a sense, that the moment you get a Strengths Finder out, then as a leader, it helps to understand obviously your team member strengths, so you can delegate based on strength. not based on the geographical location or proximity to the office, right?
Oh, wow.
And people feel empowered. They're actually doing the things that they are good at it, right? And then when they share those strengths, you have a lot of times people say, "Oh, that's why you are the way you are, because you are analytical, right? Or you are more focused on connector, right? Oh, that's the reason why every time I talk to you, say, you need to get introduced. You get introduced to this. Right now, I finally understand because you're a connector. That's your strength, right? And another thing is the book, by the way, just so everybody knows, even if you don't like to read the books, it's a still great book because you only read the first 31.
Yeah, because it's really not a big read. The biggest portion is the breakdown of all of the different strands,
You only read first 31 pages, and that's it. And then after that, you just read your strengths. And so all together, you're reading about 50, 60 pages, and halas, that's it. There's nothing else.
I promise you, I did not mean to say strength finder. I meant to just
simply ask that's okay. But that's the one, unfortunately. So that's also comes in from the, you have to buy the book because it comes with the code and everything else. This, on the other hand, I do have it in my book. I have a link where it's free. There's a number of them that are free. In fact, maybe one of the things I can do is I can email you one of the links that I'd like to use. It's a kind of quick and dirty, but it's still pretty accurate. And free, so that folks can, folks that listen to your show, and particularly this episode, they wanna go ahead and click on it. And then again, I got nothing for it. I just use it. So that would be for the disc. Mize breaks is a little bit tougher. A lot of times you have to pay for that stuff if you want a good one. Disc is why you can get a pay version, and the free version that's online. There's not much real differences. I wouldn't spend money on that one. But on the Mize breaks, I would, if somebody wants to know what their type indicator is or what type of their person they are, I would put, I would pay for it. My suggestion would be to pay for it and do it. But that's not the only one. And I know we're over time, but I'm going to give one more thing on the self-assessments, right?
Okay.
There's a one called 7 Stories self-assessment. And you are the person that you mentioned earlier. You like to write this positive reflections, kind of keep in journal positive things, right? This is kind of like this. You do 7, let's say, journal entries, for lack of a better term, right? 7 personal stories about 7 different experiences that you have had. And you can pick time frame that you want. It could be a month, could be a year, could be 10 years, 5 years, whatever you want to do. Pick 7 stories, write them down, right? And then after that, you start analyzing, looking at those stories for the common trends. What are the things that made you smile, make you energized, doing those, experiencing those stories? And what are the things that makes you, when you think about them, makes you kind of sad or makes you angry or makes you uncomfortable, right? And it gives you a lot of insights about yourself. What are the things you naturally enjoy and probably want to do more of and should do more of, and that should result in more success versus things you should probably stay away from because they just probably drain you, or that they're just not that you would rather not do it even if you're getting paid for it.
Yeah, I like that. Please send me both of those links, and I would definitely not only just link those up in the show notes, but I want to actually probably do a special slideshow or something on my Instagram page of just that specifically. Speaking of this episode, and then being able to help people find their strengths or their weaknesses or their best assessment of themselves. So please, by all means, send me that link.
We'll be happy to. We'll be happy to, my friend.
Yes, but do me one favor, like your website and people getting a hold of you. Please confirm your website for me.
So, the website is actually in the process of being rebuilt, but it's still going to stay the same domain. So it's my first name, my last name .com. So it's JasminNuhc.com. The more articles and all my stuff I try to publish for free as much as I possibly can. The books are actually, I'm not making almost any money on the books because I want to make sure that as many people can put their hands on them as possible. But a LinkedIn profile. So on the LinkedIn, there's a ton of articles, like 20, 30 articles that talk about leadership and talk about professional development. Obviously, all those are for free. I would encourage everyone to go check it out, read it. And I'm available on social media, right? So Facebook, Twitter, please connect with me as well. On the Facebook, it's my Jasmin Nuhc author. On the Twitter, it's Jasmin_Nuhc. And like I say, on the LinkedIn, it's just Jasmin Nuhc. And And obviously I'm based out of Memphis, and you will see some of my references on the books. So I will happy to network. I will happy to network with your audience. I will be happy to also, and I'm also connected to the community where people can ask for career advices for free, obviously, and I contribute to that as much as I possibly can. So anybody that feels like, hey, I could use a tip or two on professional development, on career advice, they can send me a request on the LinkedIn. I'll be happy to respond back.
I'm so glad I will be linking all of that up. And this is the main reason why I just had to connect with you. Like, I didn't care about my voice. I didn't care what my schedule was. I was going to clear it because every single freaking email that you sent me at the end, or that signature of yours, was strictly about positivity. So whether I have a positive week or a positive afternoon, when I say that drew me in like crazy, Jasmin. I was like, we have got to connect.
That's a conversation when we're gonna have over the coffee, because
100%
as well.
I love it. Yes, thank you so very much for again agreeing to say yes and providing all of this knowledge. Like, there's so many nuggets in this, and I really cannot say thank you enough.
Hey, Jimmy, I thank you for you and your audience and your show, and thank you for having me. I'm very, very happy that I did it. And again, thank you for making this easier on me, because I gotta tell you this is something that it's a new territory for me, and you made it very easy for me, and I appreciate it very much. So I hope you and your audience have a positive rest of the day and a nice evening.
All righty. We are finishing up this month extremely strong, and I cannot believe this came up and came out in this conversation. But number one is accept feedback. You're always receiving feedback. You have to be able to accept it. And I love that he said that he gave the example that several people can come up and say, hey, my boss doesn't give me feedback. My coworkers don't give me feedback. That's not true. People are always giving you feedback. You're just not listening. So fix your mind and focus. People are always giving you feedback. And if you want a more direct approach, be brave enough to actually ask boldly exactly what that feedback is. Okay? There we go. And then number two in this clip, which I loved, is that positivity rocks, baby. Positivity rocks like never before. And I love that he mentioned that. Getting rid of all of the negative things that are in your circle or in your negative self-talk, and being able to refocus and reshift your mind back around to positivity. It really does make a difference. It doesn't mean that you need to go out and see sunshine and rainbows everywhere, but making a conscious decision to see, or at least attempt to be more positive, forward thinking in your own life can truthfully put you on a new trajectory like never before. But anyway, I love that he mentioned that, and I really hope you grasp that in this particular clip. But also, if you liked Jasmin just as much as I did, Jasmin is an amazing author. So by all means, please go check out at least one of his books, at the very least. There are going to be links. I'm going to put links into YouTube, Instagram, as well as the podcast show notes. But he is on fire. I love the fact that he's local here to Memphis. Don't get me wrong. But aside from that, he is an author. He is an author that is on fire. On fire. So that wraps us up. I cannot wait to mention or to present to you next month's guest. I hope you have your fingers crossed and just as enthused as I am. But anyway, needless to say, whatever you are doing, make sure you're doing it for you. That's what these shows are about. Leadership in every form, in every aspect of your life. At the end of the day, you're leading your life. You're leading a team. You're leading people to be trained on how to treat you. You are leading something somewhere. And every last one of these shows are just tips of how you can be a better leader and do that in an authentic way. Okay? I hope you're getting that. But anyway, by all means, make sure you're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. Their asses are broke. I keep trying to tell you. Oh, please listen to me on that, please. I love you guys as always. And I'll see you first thing in the morning on Instagram.